Introduce myself. I'm Jenny. I'm the co-founder, the admin, the photographer, and sometimes the amateur model of my brand, Kaya Heritage. This is a brand that I built together with my sister. And Kaya provides ready-to-wear eco apparel. We employ naturally dyed traditional textile, and that's why I'm very interested in Kata's work, because she works with naturally dyed traditional, well, Indonesian traditional technique, which is batik. And we also, Kaya also employs zero waste cutting method. So no fabric scrap is generated during the production process. We use the entire fabric to make your clothes. We also love to share insights about sustainable fashion, from small things like tips for mending clothes, and also the bigger issues like the social issues in the fashion industry. This talk is also fully supported by aNERDgallery. Tony from aNERDgallery will help us publish this talk in various platforms, and we will update you when they are ready to be enjoyed. Okay, so let's bring Miss Catalina. It's also the magic of social media that introduced me to you and your amazing, your amazing work of naturally dyed batik. I think I'm not familiar with the idea of there are many people, artisans, artists in other countries that actually use the batik technique in their works. Although after I published our poster, several people that are also in the batik industry, they told me that, oh yeah, I also know somebody from Italy. I also know somebody from another country. So well, yeah, I'm very happy to know that. I just stumbled upon your post one day and I got very intrigued by your works, and so I sent you a message. And I got to know her a bit. But today, I hope that we will all get to know you even more. You friends, you can visit Catalina's page, the Instagram page at Cata_Esbatik, and the website cataespina.cl. You live in Chile. You live in Chile, right?
Yes.
What city is it?
In Santiago, the capital.
Oh, I see.
The most important city.
Of course. I know that Chile is a like long strip from the north to the south.
Exactly.
And where is Santiago? Is it in the north part or the middle or the?
In the middle. Yes,
I see.
It is part of the north central part of the.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it must be a very strategic. Pardon?
It's more or less in the middle of the country.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
So I told everybody over and over that you make batik, but can you tell us a bit about yourself and your work?
Yes. Well, as a profession, I am architect and designer.
Ah, I see.
Yes, that's why I love art, all the different arts. But batik conquered me, so I decided to follow the steps of batik. Yes, and well, through my work, I try to create a story. In each work, I try to create a story, and my main concepts are the feminism and the ancient connection between nature and human beings. I think that those are the most important concepts that you can find in my work. And that has been spontaneously. I really didn't think about it. It just happened. I think batik helps me to do it. Yes.
Are you still practicing architecture? You still design buildings?
No, no, just batik now.
Oh,
I used to work as a designer, interior design, really, a few years. But then I studied architecture. But then I decided to continue doing batik.
You know what? Actually, I studied architecture too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, and then yeah, just like you, I moved into batik. Have you ever take buildings as your inspirations when you're doing batik?
Perhaps in the way of build the batik, of design the composition, perhaps.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Suppose it is the same. When you have a white piece of fabric, you think like you are building something.
I do that too. I think the architecture the architecture that I studied influenced me a lot. Yeah. But how did you first know batik, and what attracts you to it?
Well, I feel like the universe conspired my encounter with batik. Yes, because my first encounter with batik was a few years ago in an exhibition, batik exhibition, from an Chilean artist called Cata Espina. And I was very surprised with the textures, the colors, all the special effects. And I didn't know. Well, I knew in that moment that was batik, but I didn't know how you did it, how she did that. So I started to search, and I didn't find out information about that. Not too much. Everything was in English in that moment. And during that time, I was studying interior design. And it was a coincidence because suddenly I was told that a new course, short course, batik, of batik, was that year. So, I was so happy because, you know, everything was put together and I could learn because of that. So I knew batik the first time, and then I had the possibility to have this course. So it was
Wow.
right.
And so the texture and the colors are what attract you to batik.
The texture, the colors, and then when I started to learn the technique itself, I was surprised with the unpredictable. I mean, the results after removing the wax are so unpredictable for me, at least. You never know what is going to happen, what the colors are going to happen. So for me, that is so magical, and I really like that from batik. And the other that I think is very important, especially when I teach batik, is the flexibility of the technique. Because I guess if you have a drop of wax, for example, in a place where you don't want, you can adapt to that.
I see.
You can say that there aren't mistakes because you can move your design, you can taint it, and there is no problem. And sometimes the result is better. So I love that. So that is so special in batik.
Oh, okay. And not only you had the short course, you even came to Indonesia last year.
Yes.
Because you wanted to learn firsthand from the batik masters. Exactly. Which part of Indonesia did you visit?
Well, I was in Pekalongan 1 week, and then in Yogyakarta.
Okay. What was the first city? Sorry.
The Pekalongan.
Oh, Pekalongan. Okay. Pekalongan and then Jogja. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see the difference between batik in Pekalongan and in Jogja?
Yes, of course. Pekalongan is completely different in some aspects, especially because of that influence. Yes, you know, the vegetal motifs and the colors are so bright, so colorful, the batiks from Pekalongan. I mean, if you compare to the traditional batik from Yogyakarta.
Which batik masters or batik artisans did you meet, and what did you learn from them?
Yes, well, I was studying with Sahir Widadi in Pekalongan. I was in a workshop 1 week long, and I learned batik tulis, batik tap, and I learned to dye and prepare the tints from the alawi, mahogany.
Okay.
Tea as well, and indigo.
Tea.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I know him.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, from his works. I didn't know him personally. Just from his Instagrams. He is also one of my favorite batik artisan. Because his work is very delicate. You know, he makes very small details, right? Yeah, and I hope someday I will have the capacity to work with his fabric, because it's when you have beautiful fabric, it feels like you don't want to cut it because it's too beautiful to cut. So I hope someday I will have the skill and the capacity to work with his fabric. A question from one of my friends: how has your experience in Indonesia influenced you?
Well, now I'm trying to apply the natural dye technique that are there with Sahir and with other artists, and to introduce, for example, the use of tap, but in a contemporary way.
Ah, I see.
The traditional way, but the contemporary, and the symbolism. I really love all the meanings behind each symbol. So I guess when you know that the meanings, the works are much more rich.
The first post I saw on your Instagram is the one with kawung pattern, and you dyed it with tea.
Yes.
Yeah. Tea is not. I think here is not a common natural dye for I mean, for batik that you sell, you know, for batik that you wear, it's not common here. So it's very interesting for me that you're dyeing with tea. And I think you know that kawung is a traditional pattern in Indonesian batik.
Yes.
So it's very common also. You see the kawung pattern with all the variations on almost every batik artisan's page. But somehow I sense, I had the feeling that this picture is not made by local artists. I don't know what made me think that, but even before I read your account name or your caption, I knew that this is something different, and maybe it was from the way the picture is taken, you know, the light, I don't know, everything. it just gives me a sense that this is not something from here. But my question is, how do you marry batik? And batik inherently brings the spirit of Indonesia, but batik in itself brings the spirit in Indonesia. How do you marry that and your own culture or your own sense of artistry?
Yes. Well, I think that batik is a very versatile art. So for me, like an artist or architecture designer, it is the best way of expression because of that. You can use it, for example, on different materials. You can use it to decorate your clothes, to decorate your walls. So it's so versatile, like art, like expression. And if we talk about the culture, yes, our countries are very far away, but there are common topics between them. For example, symbols and philosophical concepts from the worldview. That and you can find symbols and philosophical concepts of worldview that are common. So they are geographically distant. They are not so distant. So I think it works, but in both countries. I mean.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful how you find the similarities of the cultures, and you can put the similarities, I guess.
Put together or combine both, and it works perfectly.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I've seen your works in your website, and they're beautiful. And as you told me before, they speak a lot about feminism, and also the connection between human and nature. And I saw one about like the goddess.
Okay.
And it was in your exhibition, maybe in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nealenia.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Nealenia goddess. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes.
About that project?
That work, I did that work for an exhibition in Netherlands. Exhibition was about Nealenia. And Nealenia is a goddess, a Celtic goddess. Very special. They found a lot of stones with the image carved on it. And there is a lot of mystery about Nealenia. And she was the goddess of for sailors, protect the sailors during the trip between England and Netherlands. And at the same time, is a goddess of mourning. So it is there are a lot of history and mysticism surrounding goddess. So this exhibition was about her. And for me, it was very special to work with that topic, with that issue, because it suits me perfectly. I love that kind of themes.
I see.
Yeah, it was fun.
I see. And what about the technique? I mean, when you do batik, do you use canting?
Yes.
Like the traditional way? Do you use any other tools to apply the wax or apply the color?
I use canting, different brushes.
Oh, I see.
Brushes as well. A special tool from Ukraine called Kiskis. It's a very small tool to apply the wax on Easter eggs.
I see.
To decorate the surface of Easter eggs. So it's very tiny. So it allows me to wax the very, very small areas. The detail.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
Very special. Do you know?
What about? Not yet. I read about it. I read about the Ukrainian tool, but I have not seen the picture of this tool. I will surely search for it after this. What about the wax? What kind of wax do you use?
Oh, I use a simple mix made by paraffin and wax and
beeswax.
Yes, I use that kind of mixer. Beeswax and paraffin in different proportion. But nothing else. And sometimes I use micro wax or carnauba wax as well.
I see. I also see that you also make batik on paper. This may be something new for Indonesian who usually perceive batik as a textile art. Do you use paper more often than cloth, and what is the benefit, or is it easier to use paper than cloth? What is your?
Yes, the paper has the advantage because the process is easier to remove the wax, and especially that part, remove the wax. It's very easy, and you can play with different layer, adding different layer of paper, and you can obtain wonderful results. And it's very interesting to work with paper, to work on paper. And while the aspect is absolutely contemporary, I mean, you can make that, you can design that with the different papers that you do with batik, and you can design your own paper. Even you can use it to cover the walls, like to wrap your gifts. So it's very versatile. Yes.
I see. Okay. Tony is asking, how do you remove wax from paper?
With the iron.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes. And then will the wax stick to the iron, or?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because of the iron melt the wax and become liquid, and it stick to the paper. You put
and then after
in between two sheets of paper.
Okay. Okay.
then iron. So
I see.
very, yes.
And I think you have like a workshop on doing batik on paper.
Exactly. My last work is about that. Yes.
You use a lot of natural coloring. Coloring.
I'm still experimenting with natural colorings because I used to work a lot of time. In fact, I learned using Protion, the reactive dyes. I'm a bit new using natural dyes. I have been experimenting a lot, but you never stop learning about natural. It's always work different. And it depends on the fabric. On paper works different as well. So yes, I have been trying a lot. And I love it. I would like to move to natural dyes world. Definitely. Yeah, that is my aim.
Okay. Do you use similar natural colorings as the ones we use in Indonesia, or is it difficult to find those coloring in your region?
Yeah, well, one of the perhaps advantage or disadvantage you can think both about natural dyes is that they are typical for each area. Depends on the geography. So here we cannot find your natural dyes because of the climate, the weather is absolutely different. But I have been working with vegetables from the kitchen, like skin onions, beetroot, red tea, and some plants that I can find here in my continent. And from some native trees as well. They work very, very good. But I live in the middle of the city. I'm a bit restricted by that because of my. So sometimes I have the opportunity to collect some leaves from the forest, from the nearby areas, by natural areas. So in that occasion, I can find some leaves, wild native trees or something like that. But the most common is that I work with vegetables from kitchen. That's why I choose tea, for example. It's something easy to find in the city, you know.
Yes. I understand you.
Yes, I have to adapt my tints to my reality, to my urban reality. Yes.
Urban natural dye.
Exactly.
Yes. How is the response to your work among Chilean people or Chilean art society, and also your international customers?
Well, I have. It has been a bit difficult here in Chile to have open doors to the. I don't know if only happens, but it is difficult for art in general here in Chile. I have had a very good response when I have offered some workshops. Especially the children's students, young students, have been very happy learning batik. It's something really, really new for them. But the most difficult is to open the doors. That is to open the doors. But I have received a big support from my colleagues and friends in the guild, in Batik Guild, international support. It has been very. They are very kind. So I am really happy with them. Yes.
Okay, I think that's a good start. And you mentioned Batik Guild. It is based in UK, right?
Exactly.
In the United Kingdom. Can you tell us what they do and how you became the member of the guild?
Yes. Well, Batik Guild is a non-profit organization run by volunteers that aims to promote and educate in the field of batik. We have magazines 3 times a week, or 3 times a year. I mean,
3 times a year.
Year a color magazine, workshops, lectures, and news about the different members from all over the world. And it is a very good organization. Thanks that we have classes from different teachers in Belgium, in England. So I have friends. So no, it's very nice, really. And it's very good. For me, the problem is that it's very, very money as well.
Okay.
Yes, but for members who live in Europe, they are in contact all the time, and they can share workshops, lectures.
Yes. Oh, I see.
And thanks to the well, I could go to Indonesia because one of the members organized part of the trip which I took part. So yeah, so I think it's nice. It allows you to have contact with other people of the batik world. So very good. And I knew about the guild because of I had a teacher here in Chile, and I asked for her colleagues or partners for batik, and she told me. I decided to contact them, and I emailed them. And they asked me to send them my work image. I don't know, and I did it, and then I joined it. So that was 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so you have become the member for 5 years?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have checked out their website. You friends, if you want to check out Batik Guild's website, it's Batik Guild, Batik GUILD.org.uk. And I see that besides telling people about Indonesian or Japanese batik, they also explain about batik from other parts of the world, from China, from Africa, and from Ukraine. And yeah, you mentioned that you also use the Ukrainian tool to do your work. What about batik from other areas, from China or Africa? You also learn batik techniques from those areas?
No. I only have read about that, about the different techniques, but no, I haven't learned them. I would like, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. I hope. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. You're very eager to learn about everything. What about the other members in Batik Guild? Do they adopt batik only as the technique? I mean, the using wax and then the dye, or do they also adopt the traditional patterns from the countries, from Indonesia, China, and so on?
No.
So is it just the technique that they use, or they also use the patterns?
Well, for me, it is difficult to answer that question because I don't know so deeply each artist. But I can tell you that each of them has a style, has a particular style regarding to their origin and their personal background and their personal culture. I'm sure about that, but I'm not sure about the pattern, the particular pattern.
When you introduced me to Batik Guild, you said that I would be surprised at how a lot of people love batik, and yes, I was surprised. In your opinion, how do the Western world think about Indonesian batik, or how is batik's prospect in the international world, or maybe in your continent, North America and South America, if you have any insight on that?
Well, when I showed videos of the process, when I showed batik to people, the most common expression is, "Oh, it's amazing," or "They are marvelous," or "What a laborious work." Those women must be very special to do that kind of work. For example, when I showed the batik tulip work. So I think that is they are thinking about batik. They just surprised because of the difficulty of the technique and the patience, the detailing work, everything. I think that they and about the prospect. I feel we are living in a time of change, and in this moment, I think it's absolutely important to see the nature, to see the planet, to listen to be conscious about our nature, like human beings, and each practice that helps you to discover, to rediscover our essence, it's important. And I think batik can do it. So I think the world needs batik to rediscover your essence. It's a practice that to connect.
So, so do you think that people should learn to do batik of their own to have the rediscovering of oneself? Do we need to make batik, or do we only need to enjoy other people's work, like your work?
Yes, I think to learn it, but a bit difficult sometimes, but you can do it if you are interested, yes. But yes, disciplines like batik helps you. That is the concept.
I see. Yeah, I think I have two more questions. The first one is related to the situation of the world today, the COVID-19 pandemic. It has hit hard on everyone. How are you coping with it? And do you have a contingency program to keep the business moving?
Well, in Chile, the situation has been very difficult since last year because of social and political problems. This year, we had to add COVID-19 to problems.
Yeah.
So, yes, during the lockdown, I was creating this workshop that I told you before. It is about batik on paper. And I thought about using simple materials because of the situation here. Materials like paper and tea to prepare to cook in your own kitchen. And like main motif, kagum. The symbolism and all the meaning that kagum has. That was my job during all the last month.
I see.
Up to the new situation. And this workshop is online. It's made up by 7 videos. And it's available in Spanish and in English. So, and it is on my website. So you can, you can have it at the moment.
Okay, so you guys, if you want to learn batik, how to do batik on paper with tea, you know, the tea that you drink, you can visit Cata's website. It's cataespina.pl, and you can find out more about the workshop there. It's an online workshop, so you can do it from home, and the materials are easy to get, this paper and tea. And the pattern, the kawung pattern, is a very familiar pattern here, but it has a very deep meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah. We had a question again from Tony, aNERDgallery. how do you think that we as batik advocates should do to create awareness and to get people interested in batik, especially to the international audience? Okay, you mentioned, Kata, that batik will help us rediscover and in this changing world that we should reconnect with nature. So I think this is a related question. How do we create that awareness and get people to be interested?
Okay. I mean, you mean Indonesian people or all around the world?
I think it's in general, maybe around the world. Yeah.
I guess promoting promoting would be a very good way to show batik. When you show the process, it is because batik is very difficult to theoretically. If you don't show it, people often don't understand how is it. So, but you show a video, when you show the technique, when you show the batik tulis worker or batik shop worker working on the process, people is surprised. So I guess that is the way to show more, show it more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. When we show the process behind it, yeah, people will understand and also appreciate it more.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's also another question from Brown Caramello. Will we see any collaboration perhaps in the future between Kaya and Catalina?
Of course.
What do you think? Yeah, yeah, I think that would be really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's think of a way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
This is I think we're reaching the end of our talk today. It's been almost 1 hour, so yeah, perfect timing. Thank you for your time and insights, Kata. I'm sure Indonesians are very happy that our heritage culture is highly appreciated overseas. They would be very proud. Well, maybe we still have a homework here in Indonesia that I think we need to make it deeply realized among Indonesians that batik is a process, it's a technique, it's a product of a certain process. Batik is not just a pattern that can be created by printing machines, because I think we have more printed batik here than original hand-stamped or handwritten batik. And even you and other batik artists around the world understand that. But there are many Indonesians that don't understand that already, so it is our homework. Okay, before my final question, there is another question from Angie. Can you talk more about the Easter egg tool and the differences from chanting?
Oh, well, the tool, the kiski, is smaller than chanting. At least, well, I know you have a lot of different number for chanting. I guess the smallest one is 0.
Okay.
I guess, but
okay.
I hope and don't make a mistake.
It's okay.
Okay, but kiski is smaller than the smaller chanting. The smallest.
Okay.
That is the difference. Well, I have one. Can I show you?
Yeah, sure. We would love to see that.
Wait for me.
Yeah, please. Okay. Mas Aldi from Citra Natura says batik is languages. Oh yeah. You know, Catalina, you should oh, okay, that's kiski. Okay. Very similar to chanting, only the tip is smaller.
Smaller, yes. It's very small.
It's also made of metal.
And there are 3 or more different diameter. This is
I see.
This is the medium. This is the biggest one, and this the one smaller.
Then our final question. This is actually also a question from Tony. If you have all the time and the money in the world, what would you like to explore with? But so if time and money is not an issue, what would you like to explore with batik?
To explore, Well, I guess I would like to make a project mixing batik in different areas. For example, like on paper, or for example, like a fashion design batik on paper as well, and customs, something like that, a big exhibition.
Oh, okay, okay. An exhibition that has batik on paper and then batik in fashion and so on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like customs, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that.
Cirque du Soleil with batik. Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. Oh gosh, that's an amazing dream. Yeah. Let's explore that. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was the final question. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Cata, again. Let's keep in touch.
For inviting me. Oh, can I tell you a message?
Sure.
Well, I was thinking and a lot about batik because of your questions, and I guess the world needs batik, needs something, disciplines like batik. And that's why I think you love it and be proud of it and preserve it. I think
okay.
your job, especially the young people, because when I was there, I saw a lot of old people working on batik. But they told me that young people is not interested because it takes a lot of time, a long process, and I think that perhaps that you can improve that.
Okay. So that's another homework for us that we should love, be proud of, and also preserve batik. Get more younger generation to be in the batik industry.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much for the advice. Okay. See you, Cata.
See you. Keep in contact.
Yes.